Mr. Toews, if you could kind of stand back here with me and please show the jury where you were seated.
I believe I was seated in this row here in the middle.
And could you please show the jury what seat you were in and what seat everyone else was in that you were with?
I was approximately, if we were all centered, I was on the far left, and then and Ashley was next to me, followed by Veronica, Kaylin, and Haley.
All right. What happened while you were waiting for the movie to begin?
Like I said, I took the kids to the arcade.
Objection to relevance and asked and answered.
And after you got back from the arcade? So what happened in the theater after you got back from the arcade?
Same objection to relevance.
I had worked all day, so I actually fell asleep before the movie started. Ashley woke me up right when it was starting. Not so I don't know exactly, if anything happened before the movie started. But I was pretty tired that day because I started work at 6 in the morning, and it was a midnight show. So,
what do you remember after you woke up?
I was slightly paying attention to the movie, and then I heard someone scream, pardon my language, "What the hell is that?" And at the same moment, I noticed something flying through the air, which turned out to be a gas canister. It flew from the front right of the theater by the exit door over my head, and I thought it landed about midway up on the steps. And I was looking over there when all of a sudden I'm stunned by something, and I look down and there's blood all over me.
When you say you were stunned by something, could you tell at the time where you were stunned by something on your body?
No, I was stunned. So.
Okay, what did it feel like?
I can't remember.
Okay. What do you recall happening after that happened?
After I noticed that I was bleeding, my head was gushing blood. I looked up towards the front of the theater, and it was starting to get real foggy. I noticed a green light infrared laser going through the fog towards the my left side of the theater, and I noticed a figure holding a gun, and he was looking at people. Then I followed the laser
Objection
over.
calls for speculation. Move to strike.
Were these your observations of what you saw the shooter doing at that time, Mr. Toews?
Yes.
Let me rule on the objection. I don't know whether he was about to speculate or not, so I'll tell you, sir, that you can't speculate. All right, ask your question now.
Could you please tell the jury about your observations of the shooter that night?
I observed the shooter wearing some sort of armor. He seemed calm to me. He was. It seemed to me.
Object based on the language. It seemed to me. It sounds speculative.
Again, I'll remind you, sir, you can testify about it if it's based on what you observe, but you can't speculate or guess about what you think the person was doing
Right.
or anything about the person. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay.
What do you talk about? What you observed?
Okay. I observed after I watched the shooter shoot a few rounds, maybe 2 rounds towards my left. I looked over and I saw people running down the stairs to the far exit away from the shooter. I saw one person dragging themselves across the floor towards the exit like they were wounded in their leg. I'm not sure exactly why they were dragging their leg. And then I noticed the shooter shooting towards those people. And then the laser came back our direction, but no more shots were fired at that point. And as it's coming back, I look down and I see Ashley on the ground next to me, and my cousins past her. Veronica was underneath her. I didn't see
and who
Veronica.
was Veronica under?
Under Ashley. And then I hear Ashley say,
Objection to hearsay.
Sustained.
Excited utterance, Your Honor.
On that foundation at this time, sustained.
So what did you do in response to what Ashley said?
well, I told her we need to go, but she couldn't move at the time. And I think there was only one or two more shots fired after that. And then the lights came on and the shooter was gone. And a few minutes after that, my cousin called the police.
What happened after Miss Bailey called the police?
Then first responders started coming in the same exit that I saw.
Object at this point, excuse me, to cumulative to the prior testimony of other witnesses and relevance.
Ask the question again, Mr. Chamberlain.
What did you do after Miss Bailey called 911?
Okay, the objection's overruled.
After Miss Bailey called the police and the first responders came in, I started alerting the first few that came through the door that I have a pregnant woman that's
Objection 403.
Overruled.
You can continue, Mr. Toews.
that I have a pregnant woman that's down, that I have a 6-year-old that's down, and I was basically screaming at them to get them attention as fast as possible. They came down. They immediately came down to help us. They checked. They checked their pulses. And Ashley had a pulse, but Veronica did not. So they carried Veronica.
I'm going to interject an objection at this point to 401, 403 due process.
The objection's overruled.
You can continue, Mr. Toews.
So they picked up Veronica and they took her down to the stairs and down towards the exit, which I followed. The first responder that was carrying her, he began to give her CPR on the floor.
Could you please show the jury where it was that he gave?
He carried her down in this area. I'm not sure how close to the door, how close to this entrance, but it was in that row. And I when he put her on the floor, I got down next to him and
Same objection, Your Honor. 401, 402, 403 due process at this point.
The objection's overruled, Ms. Spangler.
You can continue, Mr. Toews.
at that point he began giving her CPR, and while he was giving her CPR, I believe one or two more responders were taking Ashley past us towards the exit, and the responder that was giving CPR to Veronica told me that I needed to go.
Objection to calls for hearsay.
Sustained.
So what did you do in response to what the first responder told you?
So I can't say what the first responder said.
You can't, Mr. Toews. I apologize.
Okay.
If you could just talk about what you did to go help Miss Moser.
I helped the responders get Ashley into one of the cars that was right outside the exit.
And could you just show the jury what exit that you exited from on the diagram?
We exited the to our right, your left at the exit.
And then did you go outside to that sidewalk area and get into a police car?
Yes.
All right, I have no further questions for you at this model. I'm going to ask you to take the witness stand again. Thank you very much.